Welcome to this video where everything around the shooting in the YNW Melly case will be discussed. On day 10 in the case, this sergeant came by and had some shocking evidence, with the most shocking one at the end of the video. But first, who is this sergeant?
I am now Sergeant Christopher Williams. I work for the Broward County Sheriff's Office.
He did the investigation on the car where the shooting happened. He did this by analyzing bullet holes and the bullet trajectories in combination with bloodstains and gunshot residue. He first will explain how the rods work and how he used them to conclude Melly was the actual shooter.
To illustrate, would you show the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how you would insert a trajectory rod if you were trying to do the trajectory of the red mark A, and we're going to hold it at a 90-degree angle.
You would start with inserting the trajectory rod, and you would follow. You don't just shove it in. You actually gently follow the flight path of the projectile until it reaches terminal, and then you stop.
Now you know how the rods work. We can come to the hard evidence, with as the first evidence the bullet holes in the side of the car. By using the rods, he found the shocking fact it was no drive-by, and he had to say the following about this evidence.
My determination was that this is not a drive-by shooting, and it's based upon this picture here, which is a very good picture to describe it. All of these rounds are done, and all but one is done at a stationary position. The shooter is at a stationary position when all but one of these rounds are going in. The one round that has some movement in it, which is round site L here, the shooter is actually moving in that to create the little bit of a keyhole that you see there. So if it's a drive-by shooting, all of these rounds should look like this.
Why?
Because movement is being introduced to that projectile.
So to contrast site L with one of the other sites, like U, what does that tell you?
So that's a shot that the shooter is stationary. The vehicle is stationary.
This was a lot of information, but it comes down to the two following facts. The shooter was outside the car and didn't move during the shooting, and the car wasn't moving either. But how do we know it was Melly who shot his friends? There are way too many pieces of evidence, but here are the two most noticeable. The first one is about Melly's door during the shooting.
What are we looking at here?
You see that there's a reaction to blood on the door.
And so what does that tell you as a shooting reconstructionist?
It tells me that the door was closed during the shooting incident inside the vehicle. So if this door, the driver's side passenger door, was in a closed position during the shooting on the passenger side of the vehicle, I would expect to see this projectile strike mark to be in the speaker. So that is indicative of the door being in an open position during the shooting on the passenger side of the vehicle.
So what the sergeant is telling is the following. Melly's door was closed during the shooting in the car, which was the fatal shooting, and his door was open during the drive-by. This makes clear Melly got out of the car in between those two shootings, which is super suspicious. The last and most shocking fact came from the shot wound on Sack Chaser's head. The detective explains how this shot was fired in the following clip.
Most importantly is the projectile entered in the back of his skull and exited through the front of his skull with his head at a resting angle. So, can I get up?
Please, that help and assist going.
So this resting angle in this seat, you have the projectile coming in, exiting through the top of the skull and then continuing through the windshield.
You said windshield.
The window.
The trajectory of this bullet shows the shot only could have been fired from the left back seat where Melly was seated. Do you think Melly is guilty, or is there someone else who shot his two friends? Thanks for watching till the very end, and make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on the YNW Melly case. If you have any questions, make sure to post them in the comments.